Have you ever noticed that all those productivity techniques promising to save your day never really work? Pomodoros, time blocks, endless lists, and you still end the week exhausted, wondering where all those hours that should have been yours went. The truth no one dares to reveal is this: you will never have time. Never, because time isn't something you find, gain, or manage. Time is something you choose to waste or invest, and that choice defines who you are. In this video, I'm going to show you what productivity gurus hide, the secret Marcus Aurelius whispered to himself while governing Rome, and what Napoleon Hill discovered when he interviewed the most successful men of the last century. It's not about doing more, it's about understanding the invisible game you're losing. If you're ready to stop fighting the clock and start truly living, subscribe now, leave your like, and stay until the end, because what comes next will dismantle everything they taught you about time. The problem isn't that you're disorganized or lazy. The problem is that you were taught to treat time as a finite resource that needs to be optimized, squeezed, maximized. But time isn't money, time is life. And life isn't managed, it's lived. When you turn every minute into a race for efficiency, you lose the only thing that matters, the experience of being present. The Stoics knew this. Seneca wrote that it's not that we have little time, it's that we waste much of it. But wasting time doesn't just mean procrastinating or binge-watching series. It means living on autopilot, letting others' urgency dictate your priorities, allowing the world's noise to drown out your inner voice. You don't need more hours, you need more clarity. The first lie they told you was that you can control time. You can't, you never could, you never will. Time flows, indifferent to your plans, your fears, your ambitions. What you can control is your attention, and attention is the real gold of the modern era. Carl Jung realized that the human psyche fragments when we try to be in multiple places at once. We divide our consciousness between notifications, tasks, worries, regrets, and in that division, we lose ourselves. The secret nobody tells is simple and devastating. You will never have time for everything, never, because everything is an illusion created by the culture of overload. The question isn't, how do I do more in less time, but rather, what truly deserves my attention today? And that question, my friend, changes everything. The illusion of the infinite list. You wake up with a list of 15 tasks, you complete 7, and instead of celebrating, you feel guilty about the 8 that remained. This vicious cycle isn't your failure, it's by design. Modern culture sold us the idea that productivity equals human value. If you're not constantly doing, building, conquering, you're not enough. But here's what nobody tells you. This race has no finish line. The list never ends because it was made not to end. Each completed task generates 3 new ones. Each goal achieved reveals 10 others waiting. And you run, but the horizon remains distant. This isn't time management, it's an existential trap. Napoleon Hill, when interviewing Andrew Carnegie and other industry titans, discovered something disturbing. The most successful men weren't those who did more things. They were those who knew how to say no to almost everything. They had absolute clarity about their priorities and the brutal courage to abandon the rest, not out of arrogance, but out of necessity. Because they understood that attention is finite, focus is finite, energy is finite, and when you try to embrace the entire world, you end up with nothing in your hands. True time management isn't about adding more to your life. It's about ruthlessly subtracting everything that doesn't align with who you want to be. It's about accepting that some things will never be done, and that's okay. Think of a garden. If you plant 100 different seeds in 1 square meter, none will grow properly. But if you choose 5 and dedicate all your attention to them, you'll have something extraordinary. Your life is that garden. Each yes is a seed, and you have limited space. The question that should haunt you every morning isn't what do I need to do today, but rather what do I choose not to do today? Because it's in the no that freedom lives. It's in conscious refusal that you recover your time, your energy, your soul. The Stoics called this amor fati, love of fate, accepting that you're human, limited, mortal, and that this limitation isn't weakness, it's wisdom. The time you waste trying not to waste time, how many hours have you already lost planning how not to waste time? Organizing agendas, testing apps, creating complex productivity systems that you abandon within a week. There's a cruel irony in this. You become so obsessed with optimizing every minute that you forget to live. Nietzsche warned about this when he spoke of the last man, the one who measures everything, who wants security and comfort above all, who avoids risks and becomes small in the process. Time management became modern religion. And like every religion, it has its dogmas, its rituals, its promises of salvation. But salvation never comes. Because you're fighting against the very nature of existence. Uncertainty. Have you noticed that the most valuable moments of your life were never planned? That deep conversation that came out of nowhere. That sunset you stopped to watch without checking your phone. That spontaneous laughter with someone you love. Those moments happened precisely because you weren't trying to control them. You weren't optimizing, you were simply being. William Irvine, in his book on Stoic joy, reminds us that the ancients had a different relationship with time. They didn't see it as an enemy to be conquered, but as a river to navigate. You can't stop the river. You can't speed it up, but you can choose how to move through it. And that choice, that awareness, is where true power lies. The modern obsession with productivity is actually fear in disguise. Fear of death, fear of insignificance, fear that if you stop, even for a moment, you'll realize how little control you actually have. So you fill every second with activity, noise, distraction. You create the illusion of progress to avoid the terror of stillness. But here's the paradox. It's only in stillness that you find what you're actually looking for. Ryan Holiday talks about this in The Obstacle is the Way. The things we avoid are often the very things we need. That empty hour on your calendar isn't a void to be filled. It's a space to breathe, to think, to simply exist. And maybe, just maybe, that's the most productive thing you could ever do. The tyranny of urgency, everything feels urgent. Every email demands immediate response. Every message expects instant reply. Every notification screams for your attention. But urgency is a lie. A seductive, addictive lie that keeps you perpetually reactive, never proactive. Stephen Covey talked about the difference between urgent and important, but nobody actually lives by it. Why? Because urgent gives you the dopamine hit of immediate action. Important requires patience, vision, courage, and we're biologically wired for the quick reward. Your brain can't tell the difference between a genuine emergency and a notification. It treats both the same. Fight or flight, adrenaline, action, and in that constant state of reactivity, you lose the ability to choose. Marcus Aurelius faced this every day. As emperor of Rome, he had infinite demands on his time. Senators, generals, citizens, all wanting decisions, attention, action, but every night, he wrote in his journal, not about what he did, but about what mattered. He understood something profound. Most of what seems urgent today will be irrelevant tomorrow, but the quality of your character, the integrity of your choices, the depth of your relationships, these are eternal. The daily Stoic practice is built on this foundation. Every morning, you ask, what's actually important today? Not what's screaming loudest. Not what everyone else expects, but what aligns with your values, your vision, your deepest sense of purpose. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You will disappoint people. You must, because if you're trying to please everyone, meet every expectation, respond to every demand, you're living everyone else's life but your own. The tyranny of urgency keeps you in chains. It makes you believe that saying no is selfish, that boundaries are cruel, that your own needs don't matter. But the opposite is true. When you protect your time, you protect your ability to serve at your highest level. When you say no to the trivial, you say yes to the essential. And that's not selfish, that's sacred. It's honoring the limited days you have on this earth by spending them on what actually matters. The myth of balance, they tell you to find balance. Work-life balance. Balance between productivity and rest. Balance between ambition and contentment. But balance is another beautiful lie. Life isn't a tightrope where you achieve perfect equilibrium. Life is a pendulum, constantly swinging between extremes. And that's not chaos, that's nature. Seasons change, tides shift, your energy ebbs and flows. Trying to maintain constant balance is like trying to stop breathing between inhale and exhale. It's fighting the rhythm of existence itself. Napoleon Hill discovered this when researching success. The people who achieved extraordinary things didn't have balanced lives. They had seasons. Seasons of intense focus and work. Seasons of rest and renewal. Seasons of learning. Seasons of implementation. They understood that you can't be everything all at once. You can't be deeply present with your family while building an empire. You can't be in flow state working while also being socially available. You can't be in recovery mode while pushing physical limits. The question isn't how do I balance it all, but what season am I in? And what does this season require? Jung talked about integration, not balance. Integration means honoring all parts of yourself without trying to force them into simultaneous expression. The ambitious part, the contemplative part, the playful part, the serious part. They each get their time. They each have their season. And when you stop trying to balance everything perfectly, a strange thing happens. You actually feel more whole. Because you're not fragmenting yourself anymore. You're not trying to be 10% present in 10 different areas. You're giving 100% to what's in front of you, knowing that other things will get their turn. That's not balance. That's wisdom. That's living in alignment with how life actually works. The gift you've been refusing all this time, you've been treating time as the enemy. Something to conquer, to control, to maximize. But what if time is actually the greatest gift you've ever received? What if every moment, even the difficult ones, even the boring ones, even the painful ones, is an opportunity you're missing because you're too busy wishing things were different? Eckhart Tolle built his entire teaching on this one insight. The present moment is all you ever have. The past is memory. The future is imagination. But this breath, this heartbeat, this exact second. This is real. This is life. And you're missing it. The Stoics practiced memento mori. Remember, you will die. Not to be morbid, but to be awake. Because when you truly accept your mortality, everything changes. That annoying meeting becomes a chance to practice patience. That traffic jam becomes a moment to breathe. That rejection becomes feedback. That failure becomes education. Not because you're putting positive spin on negative things, but because you've stopped labeling experiences as positive or negative. You've started seeing them as just life, the full spectrum of human experience. And all of it, is temporary, which makes all of it, precious. You've been so focused on having time that you forgot to use the time you have. Right now, in this moment, you have everything you need. You're alive, you're breathing, you're capable of choice, and that's not nothing, that's everything. The gift you've been refusing is the present, the eternal now, the only moment where life actually happens. And here's the beautiful irony: when you stop trying to manage time and start experiencing it fully, time expands, not literally, but perceptually. A minute of full presence feels richer than an hour of distraction. A conversation where you're truly listening creates more connection than a month of surface-level interactions. Quality over quantity isn't just a cliché. It's the secret that's been hiding in plain sight all along. So here's what you need to understand. Time management is a myth. You can't manage time. You can only manage yourself within time. And that management looks nothing like what they taught you. It's not about doing more. It's about being more present. It's not about filling every hour. It's about honoring the hours you're given. It's not about achieving balance. It's about moving with the natural rhythms of life. It's not about controlling outcomes. It's about choosing your attention moment by moment. The real question isn't where did my time go? The real question is, was I there? Were you present for your life? Or were you so busy planning, worrying, optimizing, that you missed it entirely? Were you there for that conversation? Or were you thinking about the next meeting? Were you there for that meal? Or were you scrolling? Were you there for that sunset? Or were you taking a photo to prove you were there? Presence is the answer, not productivity, not efficiency. Presence. Starting today, I want you to try something radical. Every morning, instead of asking what do I need to do today, ask who do I want to be today? And let your actions flow from that intention. Choose one thing, maybe two, that truly matter. Give them your full attention, and let everything else be okay being incomplete. Because here's the truth, they don't want you to know. You're already enough. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to earn your existence. You're alive. That's the miracle. Everything else is just details. Now tell me, what one thing will you choose to truly be present for today? Leave it in the comments. Subscribe to this channel if you want more truth about life, time, and what actually matters. Share this with someone who's been running on empty, trying to do it all. And remember, you don't have time. You are time. So spend yourself wisely. I'll see you in the next revelation.